today's class, we are going to start out with new chapter in history, forest, society and colonialism. Important topics. We have main topics and in that main topics we have some subtopics. Why deforestation? Land to be improved, sleep is on the tracks, plantation. The rise of commercial forestry, how, where the lives affected. How did forest rules affect cultivation? Who could hunt? New traders, employments and services. Main topics again, rebellion in the forest, subtopics in the rebellion in the forest, the people of Basta, the fears of the people. Again the main topics, forest transformation in Java. Subtopics like the woodcutters of Java, Dutch scientific forestry, Salmon's challenge, war and deforestation, new development in forestry. Yes, now let's start out with what is meant by deforestation. Before starts with what is meant by deforestation, a small introduction of forest society and colonialism. Take a quick look around your schools and home and identify all the things that come from forest. Yes, of course. See, for example, the paper in the book you are reading, the desk, the table, door and window, everything which we are using it's from the forest. And forest also provide bamboo and wood for fuel, grass, charcoal, packaging, fruits, flowers, animals, birds and many other things which come from forests. Now, let's start deforestation. What is deforestation? Why deforestation? Deforestation, its disappearance of the forest is referred to as deforestation. Yes, so what is meant by deforestation? Disappearance of the forest, which refers to as deforestation. Under the colonial rule, it became very systematic and extensive. The process began many centuries ago, but under the colonial rule, it became more systematic. At the same time, it's very extensive. Now, let us look some of the causes of deforestation in India. The first point, just look at the picture before that. Why deforestation? Yes, now let's move on to land to be improved. As population increased over the centuries and the demand for food went up, peasants extended the boundaries of cultivation by clearing the forest. Yes, so once when the population increased over the centuries, the demand for the food went up. So what happened? The peasants extended the boundaries for the cultivation by clearing the forest. And at the same time, in the colonial period, the cultivation expanded rapidly for a variety of reasons. So they plan to expand their cultivation, isn't it? And in that they have a variety of reasons in that. The first one, British directly encouraged the production of commercial crops like jute, sugar, wheat and cotton for their industries as raw materials. So what is the first point? The British government, they have encouraged the production of more commercial crops like jute, sugar, wheat and cotton for their industries as raw materials. Now, the second point, the British thought that forests were unproductive land as they yielded no revenue nor agricultural produce. Cultivation was viewed as a sign of progress. So what happened? In the earlier 19th century, the colonial government have thought that forests were unproductive because what they planned to do they were considered that had to be brought under the cultivation so that will yield agricultural products and revenue. Yes, now the third point, oak forests in England were disappearing. There was no timber supply for the shipbuilding industry. Forest resources of India were used to make ships for the Royal Navy. So what happened? The oak forests in England were disappearing, and it's created a problem of timber supply for the Royal Navy. So from India, they have used India forest resources and to make ships for a Royal Navy. Yes, now sleepers on the track. What is meant by sleepers? Sleepers is nothing but it's like a wooden planks that laid across the railway tracks. They hold the tracks in position. Yes, we'll be calling it as a sleepers on the track. The first point in the sleepers on the track, spread of railways require two things. They want to spread railway. They require railway for two things. The first one, land to be clear to lay railway tracks. The second point, wood as fuel for locomotive and for railway line sleepers. And besides this, what they want to do it, they want to spread railway for required of two things, lands to be clear to lay railway tracks, because railway were essential for the colonial trade. Yes, and at the same time for the movement of imperial troops. So that's what they want to clear the forest for lay down the railway tracks. And second one, what they have did it, to run locomotive, isn't it? They needs fuel. The wood was needed as a fuel. And to lay railway lines, sleepers were essential to hold the tracks together. So for this purpose, they need sleepers on the track. Yes, and at the same time, as the railway track spreads through India, a larger number of trees were felled. And this contracts began putting trees indiscriminately, and forest around the railway tracks fast started disappearing. Just look at the picture, everyone. They are using it, the sleepers for their tracks. Yes, that's what I've just told you. Why they need tracks, isn't it? Why they need sleepers for their tracks that hold the tracks together. Now, let's move on to the next picture of plantation. Yes. Now, let's see what is meant by plantation. The first point in the plantation, large area of natural forest were cleared for tea, coffee and rubber plantation. So what happened? The large area of natural forest were cleared to make way for the tea, coffee and rubber plantation to meet Europe's growing need for their commodities. So what they have did it? They have cleared our forest, and apart from that they have started using it for growing like a tea, coffee and rubber for the for whom? For the Europeans growing needs for their commodities. And apart from that, the colonial government took over the forest and gave vast area to the European planters at cheap rates. So on those days, the colonial government, what they have did, they took over the forest and gave the vast area to the European planters at cheap rates. Yes, that's what. So these areas were enclosed and cleared of forest and planted with tea or coffee. So what they have did, once when the colonial government gave the vast areas to the Europe, they have used it, they have gave it for a cheap rates. What the Europeans did it, they have cleared the forest and they have used the forests for growing tea or a coffee. Yes, so in today's class, we have discussed about what is deforestation, why deforestation, and subtopics like land to be improved, what is mean by sleepers on the tracks, and the last point of plantation. Thank you, students.